Naruto opened a pet shop in the ninja world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 251. Naruto, come home with me today. The last two classes in the afternoon are physical training classes. The last class can be dismissed first after completing the classroom tasks, and Naruto and Sasuke are among this group. Huh? Why? Naruto, lying on the lawn, turned over and sat up. My mother just learned a new dish and wants you to help her taste it. Sasuke sat next to Naruto, his eyes fixed on the training ground. Then he added, I have already told brother Qing about this during the day, okay. Naruto was very happy to receive the invitation from Sasuke's mother. Sasuke saw Naruto holding his face with an expectant look on his face, his eyes a little empty, but he quickly hid it. Actually, his brother asked him to do this before he went out today. The original words were, Sasuke, let Naruto stay at our house tonight. Why? Sasuke, who was about to go out, looked puzzled. I want to be alone with Qing tonight, Itachi said confidently, and then he smiled and half knelt down to look Sasuke in the eye. Please, Sasuke, you can do it, right? Then I will agree to one condition of yours. So I am just a tool in the development of your relationship? Sasuke looked resentful, then agreed, okay, remember to keep your word. So what happened today? Of course, he had already thought of a plan before he went out, such as finding his mother and telling her in advance that Naruto would be staying overnight, and ordering a few dishes that Naruto had never eaten. Please, Mom, Sasuke said, please also talk to brother Qing about this for me. Mikado was confused but agreed. So what happened today happened. Anyway, anything Naruto hasn't eaten is considered new, and the tasting claim is not entirely false. As for nighttime, there are plenty of ways to get Naruto to stay. Looking at the sky, Sasuke sighed deeply. He felt that he had given too much to this family and was under pressure that he shouldn't have to bear at his age. What's wrong, Sasuke? Naruto felt that Sasuke was not in a good mood. Are you in a bad mood? Sasuke reached out and pinched Naruto's face. No, I'm hungry. Oh. Shall we go buy some grilled sausages? My uncle gave me some pocket money today. I'll treat you. It is good. Also, preparing to go eat grilled sausages are Shaji, Shikamaru, Kiba and others because it was not yet time to leave school. Hinata didn't dare to skip class and leave early and didn't go with them. Aino couldn't bear to leave Hinata alone and withdrew from their activities. Before going out to buy groceries in the afternoon, Mikan took a detour to Qing to explain the situation. Thinking that Naruto didn't mention it to me before he left, Sasuke might have just wanted to invite Naruto out to play on a whim. So today, Qing waited until dark before closing the store and going home. Qing was not used to going home alone suddenly. Qing didn't turn on the light. She went straight into the room, got her clothes, and went to the bathroom to take a shower window. The reason why I am not sure is that the figure is much taller than Itachi, but the aura is definitely Itachi's. Itachi said nothing and looked in the direction of Qing. What's wrong? Qing walked over, her dry cleaned hair still dripping with water. Years old, but he was much more mature than the 18-year-old Itachi in his memory. They say there is no sweets, but how can you send sweets if you are under 18? Your account will be blocked. Guess why the weasel suddenly grew up. Chapter 252. The moonlight shone through the window onto the black-haired young man. The admiration and eagerness in his eyes emerged when his gaze met Qing's. Qing looked at the Itachi like this and felt a little dazed, but Itachi's familiar eyes allowed Qing to distinguish the person in front of him from the one in his memory. Qing breathed a sigh of relief, a smile in his eyes, and walked towards Itachi and asked, why are you like this? The height difference made Itachi no longer look up at Qing. He lowered his head slightly, his ears reddened, and his eyes wandered. I always feel, you will like me when I was 18 years old. And now I am 18 years old and can do a lot of things. Itachi often felt that Qing was always looking at someone through him. He thought, maybe it was someone very similar to himself. But so what? A teenager and an adult touched the shallow nasolabial folds with his hand and chuckled, but you didn't look like this when you were 18. The Itachi in my memory was pale and had deep nasolabial lines when he was 18 years old. Having experienced a lot, he is more mature. He guessed, Qing really liked himself more as an adult. Itachi's eyebrows moved, and he reached out and pushed Qing easily onto the bed behind him. The waterbed with a soft mattress almost made Qing sink into it when he fell, but he bounced back quickly. Then his whole body was enveloped by Itachi's aura. Couldn't cause any waves, but Itachi was working hard, and Qing didn't disturb him with a smile in his eyes. Instead, he gently bit back when Itachi was about to finish. This bite made Itachi tremble all over. His hands slipped and he fell on Qing. Itachi, who originally wanted to show his adult demeanor, fell into endless embarrassment because of his failure to pretend to be dead. But the laughter in his ears did not stop. Itachi was a little annoyed. "Stop laughing." "Ha ha ha, sorry, I didn't mean to make you laugh." Qing tried to hold back, but couldn't help it, and his body began to tremble from trying to hold back his laughter. Itachi said helplessly, "Forget it, just laugh." PFFT, ha 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 ha. Qing laughed so loudly that his laughter echoed in the whole room. Qing was tired of laughing, and patted the Itachi that was still pressing on him. "Why don't you get up? You are very heavy now." Itachi chose not to hear it. "I was wrong. I shouldn't have looked for you. Please forgive me, okay?" Seeing that Itachi didn't speak, Qing started to coax him. "I'm not mad at you." Itachi was mad at himself. Things were apparently going smoothly, but Qing just fought back lightly, which was not steady enough at all. No, maybe Qing had been indulging himself from the beginning. Itachi saw the calmness in Qing's eyes and felt a little discouraged. With a bang, he returned to his original appearance, and the clothes he wore were his father's after the transformation. So he was still wearing the same outfit, but it was a little loose on him because of his height thrown. Qing felt that this scene was a bit overpowering. Sprinkle some sugar, but not too much. Hope it passes the review. Chapter 253. Qing admitted that this scene made his heartbeat faster. But in order to maintain his composure, his face remained calm and he even changed the subject. "Have you had dinner?" Knowing that Qing was trying to change the subject, Itachi's brain was working quickly. For example, what was the reason why Qing changed the subject? After getting used to the darkness, Itachi looked at Qing's face in the moonlight, and it was no different from usual if it was intentional. After realizing that Qing was not as unmoved as he had imagined, Itachi said with a smile in his eyes, "I have eaten and taken a bath. There is nothing else to do next." He answered everything Qing would say in one breath, which made Qing speechless for a moment. However, when he heard Qing's uncontrollable hum, his whole body trembled. "Brother Qing, you, shut up, don't talk, don't ask." Qing was a little annoyed, and covered his face with a pillow. "I don't mean anything else, this is just a normal situation during puberty. But the more I talk, the more it sounds like an explanation. I know." If someone had poured a basin of cold water on him and he instantly calmed down. He dropped his hands, removed the pillow and met Itachi's eyes. "No, and you can't." Qing used an extremely calm tone. This tone also calmed Itachi down. He got off Qing and stood by the bed. "I'm sorry, I crossed a line." "Itachi, don't worry." He sensed Itachi's impatience today, hooked his hand, and asked him softly, "What happened?" "Itachi, after a while, I will leave Konoha." "It means that I will leave Konoha after a while, not that I will leave Konoha for a while." "The return date has not yet been determined." "Traitor, and left Konoha with a sad and infamous reputation?" "I am the most suitable person. Whether it is Itachi's identity or his strength, he is the most suitable candidate." Qing scratched his hair in annoyance. "Is there no one left in Uchiha? Do you, a child, have to bear the responsibility?" Qing. Itachi held Qing's head and said, "Ninjas are no longer children after they graduate from school. I am stronger than them. I am my father's child and a ninja of Konoha. I should go." Qing certainly knew that he was just angry about his own incompetence. He knew that with Itachi's strength he could survive and grow up, but he would get hurt and it would be painful. "We're not leaving tomorrow." When Itachi saw Qing's attitude towards the matter, his anxious heart suddenly calmed down. Itachi sighed slowly. "I had planned everything well for tonight. I wanted to take things a step further with you before I leave." "How?" Qing sneered and poked Itachi's abdomen. "I have told you many times, Uchiha Itachi, you can't tremble if you are underage. So it's okay once you're an adult." Itachi asked with a light smile in his voice. It was just a joke, but after waiting for a long time for Qing to refute, Itachi's eyes widened. He let go of his hand, squatted down, looked up at Qing, and asked him seriously, "Is it okay now that you are an adult?" Qing pouted. "By then you will be an adult, And you will be at the age where you should be responsible for your own actions. You can do whatever you want, and I can't control you. Itachi smiled and said, but I think Brother Qing has always been keeping an eye on me. Chapter 254. The young men slept peacefully, snuggling together, and had no dreams that night. Neither of them mentioned what happened that night again. Konoha still appears calm on the surface, but undercurrents are surging. Looking at another group of villagers complaining, the third generation pressed his forehead with a headache. This is the 8th case of robbery on the street in the past half-month. But the other party always managed to escape completely before the guards arrived, and the people they targeted were all ordinary villagers. It can be said that he has a certain understanding of Konoha's existence. Even last night someone was beaten and thrown half dead on the street, which scared the people in the morning market so much that most of them did not dare to open their shops today. People were in a panic for a while. 3-generation guard department came to question them. Why captains? Because no one seems to obey anyone, so each family has a captain to lead the people under him. And they all have extraordinary identities in their respective tribes. When the 3rd generation sent a message, they all arrived quickly, and when they were asked about what happened last night, the captain started arguing. Hinata was in charge of that area last night, right? Team Hyuga didn't receive the message. It can't be me. They started arguing, no one admitted their guilt, and they kept blaming each other. The 3rd generation then brought up the issue of Konoha's public security. He interrogated the grandson of the famous master who had beaten someone in public before. The 3rd generation asked them, how is this matter finally handled? After several people looked at each other, someone was the first to answer, let him go. Let him go. To avoid offending someone, then of course one would choose to keep the peace. He didn't say the rest, but the 3rd generation already understood what he meant. The 3rd generation really didn't expect that it had only been less than 2 months since Uchiha resigned, and the guard team that was considered strong by the villagers had become like this. Apart from anything else, Konoha's public security has indeed been very safe over the years under the leadership of the Uchiha. Uchiha was never afraid of anyone, even those who dared to cause trouble in Konoha would be locked up for reflection by him. Under such unfair terms, Konoha has indeed always been very safe, and there are almost no people who dare to cause trouble in the streets. The 3rd generation gave a warning to several family representatives, and after a few words, asked them to put their internal affairs in order and then release the people. But even after the reminder, the security in Konoha did not improve. And every time something happened, the guards were always late. Suddenly someone said, there weren't so many things when the Uchiha clan was in power, although the Uchiha's arrogance often makes people feel despised and unhappy, they have the strength and have the capital to be so arrogant. When will the Uchiha return to take the throne? After one sentence of this kind of voice, there will be 2 sentences, and then there will be hundreds or thousands of sentences. Originally there was only the Uchiha guard team, but after it was divided up, each team leader was unwilling to submit to the other, fighting openly and secretly, and only wanted to trip up the other side and kick them out in order to dominate. How can we be united in such an atmosphere? It has been 2 months since the Uchiha left office, and the villagers of Konoha are looking forward to their return to their posts. This made the major families in Konoha high-level officials who received the news look upset. Isn't this a slap in their face? These useless people have indeed lost their face. In response to this incident, the top management convened another meeting, and the representatives of the criticized families all looked unhappy. Finally, I would like to say, if you really don't want Uchiha to come back, just get things done to end the show. Today's Uchiha gets a face-slapping script. Chapter 255. There was no way noble families would give back the cake they had already obtained, so an order for rectification was issued. No matter what the result is, at least it looks good on the surface. And what about Uchiha Fugaku? He ascended the throne at a young age. At that time, he was young and energetic, and worked hard to lead Uchiha in a better direction. But there are many things that can only be understood when standing in this position. Point of being conceded. By the time they came to their senses, the stalemate between Konoha and Uchiha had almost reached a point of division. The situation did not improve until the 4th generation took the throne, and because of the death of the 4th Hokage, all the blame was placed on the Uchiha, and the current situation is almost impossible to reverse. If you want to save Uchiha, you can only take a step back and compromise. The Uchiha's pride would not allow them to retreat, but standing above the clan, Uchiha Fugaku could not lead everyone to death knowing the outcome. After they figured it out, they no longer paid attention to the pressure from the elders, and now all the young people in the tribe have left. There is no need to deal with any mess and there is nothing to do. Uchiha Fugaku, who is in his prime, has recently lived a life like a retired man. Looking at his two outstanding sons, he began to imagine himself taking care of his grandchildren. Oh, he is the grandson of Sasuke's branch. I don't know how long it has been since I had a leisurely cup of tea with Mai in such nice weather. Sasuke had been under a lot of stress lately, and he was confronted by his father's face as soon as he got home and his sudden concern for herself. For example, Sasuke came home with a perfect test report. His father got the news from somewhere, took a look at it and nodded. All, your brother graduated when he was your age. Sasuke. If it were before, Sasuke would definitely feel sad because he couldn't get his father's recognition. But now, he inexplicably heard the praise contained in the words of his taciturn old father. He even randomly checked homework after meals and the progress of physical skills and ninjutsu. The time spent training with him in the backyard has also increased a lot. Sasuke always thought that he was inferior to his brother in every way. Now his father's inexplicable change made Sasuke hard to accept. Even when guests came, Sasuke could see that his father wanted him to sit in, but Sasuke saw it first and slipped away first. Sasuke vaguely realized the meaning of his father's actions and felt goosebumps all over. On the other hand, Itachi has been going home less and less recently. If you want to find him, you can go to Qing on weekends. Sasuke would stay at Qing and Naruto's house. The Uchiha elders gathered together to discuss the attack on Uchiha Fugaku, but among these old Uchiha, there is an outsider. He had a smile on his face, but all his viciousness was hidden deep in his one eye. Qing is washing the dog because of special requirements. The ninja dogs from the Inuzuka family are not allowed to be washed with shadow clones based on the principle of customer first. Qing also agreed, but asked to make an appointment one day in advance and specify the quantity. Otherwise I'd have nothing to do all day but wash the dog. Inuzuka said it was no problem. But what happened to Akamaru before never happened to other dogs again. The next time Akamaru came to take a bath, the marrow washing thing never happened to him. It then speed up the pace. Chapter 256. Time flies, and it's the end of the year in a blink of an eye. The streets and alleys of Konoha gradually began to feel like the new year was approaching. Preparations for the temple have already begun and stalls are gradually being set up. In previous years, Qing always rushed back and left in a hurry after the new year. It's so troublesome. Even if you come to see me every day, I won't start early. Shikamaru half drooped his eyelids, and his whole body looked listless. Wouldn't it be nice to sleep in the fireplace at home in this weather? The moment he stepped out of the house and felt a cold wind blowing into his neck, Shikamaru regretted it. But in fact, even if he didn't want to come out, his mother would kick him out of the house. After the holiday, Shikamaru could feel that his mother was looking at him more and more annoyingly. I already have a husband who is always listless at home, and now I copy and paste a son who is also listless. It was fine when he went to school, but when he was on vacation at home, Mrs. Nara became more and more angry. So every time Naruto came to see Shikamaru, she would kick her son out without hesitation. I'm really looking forward to it. I've never been here to play before. Naruto was looking forward to it very much. He had only heard about it from his friends before, but now he could finally participate himself. The owner of the grilled octopus stopped what he was doing when he saw the kids. Hey, Naruto, you're here again. When the time comes, I'll leave you the biggest octopus, okay? Naruto agreed happily. Recently, because he reports every day, the adults who are building the structure have become familiar with Naruto. Naruto, who did not sense their ill will, quickly became familiar with everyone, and even felt distressed after receiving various invitations. What should I do if my pocket money is not enough to buy so many? It was obvious that Naruto was really distressed, so hearing such words made everyone laugh. Would be fine as long as people came. Naruto smiled shyly. On the way back, I passed by a grove and heard the sound of fighting. Naruto looked towards the woods. Shall we go check it out? Don't meddle in other people's business, Naruto. Shikamaru said with a stern face, disagreeing. From the sound of it, it seems like a group of people are beating up one person. It's better not to go, Naruto. This time, Choji stood on Shikamaru's side. He sniffed the air and said, there are 6 people there. Naruto's eyes lit up. There are 4 of us. Isn't it just right to go over there? That makes sense, but Shikamaru still doesn't want to get into trouble. So nice. Since Shikamaru has compromised, Choji won't have any objection. Yer was a person who loved to join in the fun, so after compromising, he quickened his pace and ran into the woods. Sure enough, What I saw was a scene of 5 people beating up one person. He looks about the same age as them. He was also cursing with words like tail end, waste, watermelon rind, etc. Stop! Naruto shouted loudly before he arrived. The sound echoed in the woods, starting the people in the trees and successfully making them stop what they were doing. He turned around in shock, only to see the little idiot Naruto. His frightened expression turned into disdain. Huh? You shorty want to be a hero? Although Naruto has caught up with his nutrition in recent years, he is still a little shorter than his peers. His height was touched, and he pouted in grievance. How can you be called a man if you use your numbers to bully the weak? The child who was being beaten did not feel the pain of the fist falling. When he heard the sound, he carefully moved his arms that were protecting his head away. The small figure was facing away from the light, and he could only see a golden patch. Thick eyebrows appear. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 257. Naruto's aggrieved tone was heard by those people and misunderstood as fear. The leader winked at someone, and that person smiled knowingly and walked towards Naruto. As he walked, he cracked his knuckles, making a crackling sound. It's too late to leave now. I'll make you cry and go home to your mother. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. He still looks like a little baby. Go easy on him. Naruto was wearing a beautiful scarf, gloves and furry earmuffs, which made him look very warm. He looks harmless, and in the eyes of outsiders he really looks like a baby being cared for by his family, which is actually the case. Under the care of Qing's love in recent years, Naruto's former gloominess has long disappeared, and his sallow face has become fair and tender. Many people would not put him together with the 9-tailed monster that was once devoured and hated. The same is true for these children. Naruto had heard this kind of laughter many times since he was a child, and he had become immune to it. He could even raise his chin with pride and say proudly, "My little uncle is the only one in my family." Naruto raised his gloved hand, pointed at them one by one, and pointed his thumb down provocatively. Uncle said that villains die because they talk too much? You are already dead, you arrogant little brat. Since you want to be beaten so much, I'll grant your wish. Cannon fodder number 1 raised his fist and hit Naruto. Naruto stood there, tilted his head, and when the man was about to get close to him, he took a half step back and stretched out his toes to trip him to the ground. Too slow. In fact, Naruto's training partner in physical skills is always Sasuke, and the two have a tie-in win-loss record so far. So Naruto, who had never sparsed with others, didn't know that he was actually much stronger than his peers. So the doubt just now is also true. Cannon fodder number 1, who had fallen flat on his face, was filled with humiliation. He shouted angrily to his partner over there, "Catch this guy together." Ha 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 ha, how embarrassing. I actually lost to a little baby like this. One person was left to watch the person under the tree, and the other 3 walked Naruto towards together. But Naruto was not afraid at all. He put his hands on his hips and looked calm. You're so scared that you can't even walk. Stop talking nonsense. Let's go together. Everyone rushed forward together, but were frozen in time when they were only one step away from Naruto. Then, Chiba, who rushed out from behind Naruto, kicked people out one by one. Naruto was very quick and kicked 2 of them. The few people who were caught off guard didn't even understand what ninjutsu they used and were unable to move in an instant. Shikamaru, who was behind Naruto, controlled 4 people at once and lasted for 2 seconds before he instantly collapsed and sat on the ground. I'm so tired. Thank you for your hard work. Naruto smiled and pulled him up. Seeing his companions being dealt with in an instant, cannon fodder number 5, who was still under the tree, was so scared that he dared not move that it ran away crawling. Under the tree, a young man with wounds all over his body and a face so swollen that his original appearance could not be seen looked at them blankly. Are you okay? Naruto half knelt in front of him, and saw his thick eyebrows. His eyes widened. Your eyebrows are so thick. So amazing. Usually, thick eyebrows are often ridiculed. Today, they are suddenly praised like this. Rock Lee blushed. You are also very cute. Chapter 258. Generally speaking, boys may feel offended or humiliated when being praised for being cute, but for Naruto, Qing has been praising him since he was 3 years old. The word cute was a huge compliment to Naruto. Naruto put his hands behind his back embarrassingly, hesitatingly, his little face flushed like a little angel in winter. Please, can you date me? Out his hand Shikamaru. What? Did he say? Yo opened his mouth and looked at Shikamaru. Shaji opened his squinted eyes. Naruto was silent for a long time, then turned back and asked Shikamaru in confusion, what do you mean by dating? Almost swollen like a pig's head, his eyes were one big and one small, and there were 2 bright red lines under his nose. He looked extremely embarrassed. No. Naruto scratched his hair. After all, he was a boy. Rock Lee, whose confession was rejected, was so shocked that he froze in place. Kiba walked forward with some disgust and pulled Naruto away. Go back to eat, stay away from this weird guy. Not to get infected. Naruto originally wanted to help drive those people away, and now that it was over, he had to leave. Before leaving, he waved to Rock Lee, who was frozen in place. Rock Lee stared at the receding backs of the few people for a long time, unable to come back to his senses, until he could no longer hear their voices, and then he was suddenly awakened. He recalled the scene he had just seen, and carefully savored the cooperation between them. Stunned, she is so awesome, and she forgot to say thank you. Rock Lee was depressed for a long time before he patted the footprints on his body that couldn't be wiped off and went home in despair. Maybe we can meet again. At this moment, Sasuke, who didn't know that he was being poached and was practicing hand seals at home, suddenly sneezed. The temple fair starts 2 days before the Chinese New Year and lasts for 3 days, but fireworks are only on New Year's Eve, the last day. Naruto, who used to go there to supervise every day, no longer went there after the work was completed. The day before the temple fair, the friends asked Naruto out but were all rejected. The reason is, I must go to the temple fair with my uncle for the first time. But Qing is a little busy these 2 days at the end of the year. Should we say that it was thanks to the Uchiha that they completed the large number of tasks piled up in Konoha? The ninjas who were unable to return home during the Chinese New Year in previous years now have some rare free time and some time to breathe. Especially the Inuzuka clan's reconnaissance team. Maybe it was because he saw the sentence on Qing's promotional leaflet, New Year, New Atmosphere. Bring your pet here for a bath and beauty treatment before the New Year. So, the contracted beasts are dogs, such as the Inuzuka clan, and Kakashi's ninja dog. Even those with or without fur are here. Or those who have ordinary pets at home are rushing to make appointments in the past few days. Some even brought cows, chickens, ducks and geese, saying they wanted to give them a bath to bring good luck to the farm. So, Qing became busy all of a sudden near the end of the year. The number of reservations is too large. Although we can use shadow clones to make reservations at the same time, there are limited bathing rooms, so we have to work overtime to catch up. However, ordinary pets need to be returned to people after being cleaned. Therefore, recently Qing can often be seen on the streets of Konoha or on the eaves holding or carrying cats, dogs, cows, sheep, chickens, ducks, geese and other animals. At the end of the year, pet owners are really busy. The busiest day is from noon to 1 in the morning. Chapter 259. Once again, Qing got home late at night, washed up simply, and lay down on the bed tiredly. In the past few days, I have been maintaining multiple shadow clones for a long time, basically consuming 9/10 of the amount every day. However, what comes with it is an increase in the amount of chakra. After relaxing his whole body, Qing turned over and stood up before falling asleep, walking towards the master bedroom. After making sure Naruto was asleep, he returned to his previous room and went to sleep. He woke up in the morning. Naruto, who had sneaked in at some point, was curled up next to him. Qing feels a little guilty for not being able to spend enough time with Naruto recently. He got up carefully, prepared breakfast and went out again. Qing arrived at the store door, looked at the dogs that had been waiting in line for a long time, and sighed, "Sorry to have kept you waiting for a long time." Put it in the dryer. Qing retracted his shadow clone and pounded his stiff shoulders. Just as he was about to take a break, someone hurriedly opened the door and said, "Boss G, please save him." They were members of the Inuzuka clan, and there was a strong smell of blood been corroded by the poison gas. The white bones were exposed, and the hair on the body was stained with blood and clumps. Qing did not let the Inuzuka clan member go out. He asked him to disinfect his tools and then stand aside waiting to help at any time. Light green chakra covered the wound, slowing down the corrosion of the poison until it dissipated. But a lot of the flesh had already rotted and gave off a foul smell, and the wound was too large to be completely repaired with ninjutsu. Give me the top box on the first shelf on the left. Qing stared at the wound intently. After getting the necessary toolbox, Qing opened it accurately. When Black Dog's breathing almost stopped, Qing put him on a ventilator. After Fengli's scalpel was sterilized at high temperature with a fire shield, it was slashed with such speed that it almost left an afterimage. Soon all the rotten flesh was cleaned up, and during this time, the light-colored chakra on the other hand never stopped has been cleaned, and the next step is to continue repairing it using ninjutsu. The process is very long, and it is not easy to maintain a stable output of chakra. This lasted for several hours, and Qing ended it when he was almost exhausted. Almost running out of chakra made Qing feel dizzy and nauseous. She waved her hand to signal him not to worry about her, and said in a hoarse voice, "He's out of danger." "Thank you so much." Inuzuka Osamu knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Qing. The Black Dog's wounds were so severe that it was on the verge of death. Even the veterinarian in the tribe had no idea how to treat it and shook his head at him with regret. He listened to the clan leader's words and brought Qing here just hoping for a miracle to happen. The ninja dogs of the Inuzuka clan are important companions and family members. They are bound together from the moment they become ninjas, growing together and accompanying each other. If it was normal, Qing would definitely avoid the kowtow, but now he really has no strength left. "Do you have any military ration pills?" Inuzuka Osamu was stunned for a moment, then he shook out all the military ration pills on his body and presented them with both hands. Qing raised his hand tremblingly, took it and took a bite. After feeling his chakra recovering somewhat, he let out a long sigh, got up, found a box of pills and handed it over. "Take it home and take care of it. Take an anti-inflammatory pill a day. If the fever is very serious, come to this address to find me. The treatment fee will be settled after the opening of the business next year." "Yes." Inuzuka Osamu confirmed again and again that Qing did not need help before he carefully picked up the sleeping Black Dog and left. "P.S. The surgical procedure has no scientific basis, so please be gentle." Chapter 260. Qing suddenly woke up, and the weather outside had turned completely cold. He sneezed and sniffed his nose. "Isn't it possible that you have a cold?" Qing locked the shop and rushed home. When Naruto woke up, he was stunned when he didn't see breakfast in the kitchen. He raised his head suddenly and ran over. Seeing Qing, who was still covered in blood, her face turned pale. "Uncle, are you hurt?" Qing sat in the entrance and took off his shoes. His face turned pale due to the consumption of chakra. When he saw Naruto running over, he quickly raised his hand to stop him from approaching him. "I'm dirty." "Don't worry," Naruto confirmed again and again. "Really? Doesn't it hurt anywhere?" "Really? But I have to take a shower first. I'll tell you in detail later." Qing softened his tone and soothed him. Naruto finally calmed down. "Uncle, do you want me to scrub your back?" Naruto excitedly held a bath towel before Qing entered the bathroom with his spare clothes. "Thank you, Mingbeo, but I'm too dirty today, so there's no need for now. I can do it myself." Naruto's well-behaved appearance made Qing want to hug him, but now only her hands were clean. I could only stroke his furry head softly. "It will be ready soon. Wait for me for breakfast." Naruto nodded. While making breakfast, Qing told Naruto about the Black Dog. "I could have gotten home earlier, but someone suddenly sent a seriously injured ninja dog to heal it. Later, my chakra was exhausted and I slept in the store, so I got home so late. In fact, it would have been almost like fainting." Qing apologized to Naruto with some guilt. "I'm sorry for making you worry." Naruto shook his head. "My uncle has worked very hard, but I am too young to help. I will grow up quickly and help my uncle. Mingbeo is really reliable." Qing picked up a small piece of thick egg-cooked bread and blew on it. "Try and see if it's too bland." "Ah, delicious. The thick omelette they make is always sweet, and because they add a little milk, it tastes as smooth and creamy as pudding. Uncle needs to take a nap. How about you go and have lunch with Sasuke?" Qing prepared lunch boxes for 2 people. "Okay." Naruto responded without looking up. If Qing looked carefully, he would notice the guilt in the child's eyes. "But I was too sleepy at the moment, so I simply had breakfast. I'm going to sleep now. Just leave the dishes and chopsticks here when you're done eating. The lunchbox has all your favorite foods, and you have to eat all the vegetables, and be careful when you go out to play." "I got it," Little uncle. You should go and have some rest. Naruto didn't think Qing was nagging at all. Instead, he enjoyed it. After eating, Naruto moved a stool, rolled up his sleeves, and washed the dishes like Qing usually did. Done. Naruto looked at the shiny washed dishes with a great sense of accomplishment, already imagining the scene of his uncle praising him. However, the dishes were washed, but he was also soaked. There was also splashing water and foam around the sink. However, Naruto, who was focused on the dishes he had washed, did not notice this. After jumping off the bench and returning to the room, my uncle was sleeping under the quilt. He carefully opened the wardrobe, changed his clothes, took the exercise paper, and lay on the floor to do it cold at all. Today is New Year's Eve, the last day of the temple fair, and there will be fireworks in the evening. Naruto felt happy to be able to stay with his uncle, no matter where they were or what they did. Chapter 261. Of course, Qing did not forget that he would go out and play with Naruto today. He even prepared a kimono for winter. The reason for taking such a long rest is to be able to cheer up and play with Naruto well. Otherwise, it would be such a disappointment if you yawned in the middle of the show at home all day and had not gone out. Tenderness emerged in his eyes, and he gently pushed Naruto. Wake up, Minbeo. Naruto, who was sleeping soundly in his nap, turned over and showed no intention of getting up. Let's get ready to go out and have fun. There are delicious takoyaki and grilled squid. There are also beautiful fireworks tonight, Qing whispered in my ear. If you don't get up now, you will miss it. Naruto woke up instantly, turned over and got up, and said anxiously, let's go quickly, uncle. Ha 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 ha. Naruto's reaction made Qing laugh. She hugged him and stroked his hair. It's still early, don't rush, get up, wash your face and change your clothes. Okay, Naruto didn't mind being bullied by his uncle at all. Really not tired? It's okay for me to rest with you at home. Naruto stared at his uncle with some reaction. Qing felt warm in her heart. We have slept enough, let's save some space for later and eat everything we want to eat. Great. Naruto raised his hands happily. I'm going to wash my face, uncle should get up soon too. Okay. Qing got out of bed and took out the kimono that had been prepared long ago from the closet. Is in Naruto's errand brother, relative, and disciple style. Specially customized. Naruto has bright hair and fair skin, and he looks good in any color clothes. Qing chose the same light blue color for both of them, and prepared a goose yellow plush shawl for Naruto. So cute. Qing held her face, pink bubbles were all around her, and she took pictures with a camera. Naruto in the camera blushed and put his hands behind his back in embarrassment. Naruto felt a little awkward wearing a kimono for the first time. My uncle is also very handsome, thank you for your compliment. Let's go. With a camera hanging around his neck, Qing held Naruto's hand and hung the handbag containing money on Naruto, which matched his clothes. The sky was still bright at 5 o'clock, but there were already a lot of people on the road at this time, and everyone was going in the same direction. Naruto and Qing's kimono combination made everyone look back frequently because it was so beautiful. Naruto actually looks very handsome, but usually people ignore his appearance because of his identity and the beard-like lines on his face. She was specially dressed up today, and her cheeks were flushed with excitement because it was her first time to visit a temple fair. She looked like a delicate little doll, especially adorable. On the way, they met Ino, Shikamaru and Choji, who were brought out by their parents. When he met his friends, Naruto happily ran over and showed them his new clothes. Ino's kimono is pink and very cute. Shikamaru and Choji also wore kimonos. Choji's is red, which is very festive, while Shikamaru's is an ordinary dark blue with his lifeless face. He doesn't have any childish energy at all. The parents gathered together and the children walked in front. Qing, who is already at the age of a child, raised another child. Fourth generation was still alive. Qing was a child who was cared for. He sighed in his heart but did not show it on his face. Along the way, he even gossiped about his rumored girlfriend. Chapter 262. At first, it was just the gossip of women, and Mrs. Yamanaka didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. It's all my fault for talking too much? It's causing you trouble. When Mrs. Yamanaka came to her senses, the neighbors were already talking about Qing's girlfriend. Qing originally wanted to say that it didn't cause any impact, but then he changed his mind and thought of Itachi because of this incident. At that time, Itachi stood in front of his study for a whole night because of this incident. Qing smiled and said, well, a little thing did happen. When Mrs. Shansong heard the tone and expression, she knew that Qing was not blaming her. The gossip radars of the wives who were once young started ringing again. Oh my, is this making the other kid jealous? Qing did not deny it, but just gave the ladies a well-behaved smile. Oh my, it's so good to be young. Thinking back to the past, several wives of old friends recalled the youth and beauty of their younger days. And their men involuntarily took a step back. Qing was actually interested in the gossip about the previous generation, and it sounded very fresh to him. As more and more people came, Qing looked at Mingren with some concern. Mingbao, please pay attention to the road and don't fall. Naruto, who was walking in front, turned around and waved, I'll be careful. However, just as he finished speaking, he was bumped by a child running and playing on the road. It was Shikamaru who was beside him who held him in time to prevent him from falling. Are you okay? Qing stepped forward and squatted in front of Naruto to check on him. I didn't fall down, uncle, thanks to Shikamaru holding me. Naruto felt a little guilty. I'm sorry. I just said I would be careful. Uncle saw it. It was the other kid who didn't look at the road and hit you. The child who hit Naruto had already run away without even an apology. Qing stroked Naruto's back and said, there will be a lot of people coming. You need to follow Shikamaru closely, okay? Yes. Naruto nodded vigorously. I will take good care of little Naruto, don't worry, brother Qing. Big sister Ino looked reliable. Qing smiled and nodded, then I'll leave Mingbao in your hands. This is his first time here, so please take good care of him. Ino and Shaji, okay Shikamaru, okay. Naruto grinned foolishly while being surrounded by his friends. After going up the stairs, what caught his eye were rows of neatly arranged small stalls with a wide variety of goods. Naruto looked at them with his mouth wide open. Sasuke and Itachi were already standing at the entrance, very conspicuous, obviously waiting for them. Sasuke was wearing a gray kimono and Itachi was wearing a dark blue one. The two handsome brothers standing together attracted the girls to look back frequently. Naruto ran up to Sasuke and spun around. Sasuke, you look so good in a kimono. After saying this, he stared at Sasuke expectantly, as if waiting for him to praise him back. Sasuke didn't agree with him and raised his chin proudly, it's just average. There was no follow-up. Naruto didn't get the compliment he wanted, and after a moment of pause, he continued, not ordinary at all. Sasuke is super handsome now. After saying that, he continued to stare at Sasuke expectantly. The emotion of praise me too is almost written on his face. Sasuke first glanced at the others, and when he saw that their attention was on his brother, he whispered to Naruto, well, your clothes look nice too. It was simple and without any ups and downs in tone, and it could be said to be perfunctory, but Naruto was very happy. Right, my uncle prepared it specially for me. Yes, let's go. Sasuke knew it would be like this. He raised his head numbly and looked straight ahead. Chapter 263. The moment Qing appeared in his sight, Itachi's eyes were filled with only him. Qing looks different today than usual. The high ponytail she used to wear was changed into a low ponytail, which was brought from the back to the front and hung below her shoulders. The whole person looks relaxed, lazy and casual. Children. It's very interesting to watch the children looking here and there. Qing asked Itachi, is there anything you want to eat? Itachi shook his head, take another look. The group stopped in front of the mask stall, and Naruto stared at the fox mask for a long time without coming back to his senses. You, uncle, the fox is a very special animal to Naruto. He knew that he was the incarnation of the nine-tailed demon fox. Although he had many family members and friends who accepted him, he still hadn't gotten over that hurdle. It wasn't until today that I officially faced it. He was wearing a fox mask, and suddenly everything became clear to him. I am such a beautiful fox. Unintentional, but Shikamaru and Ino all chose fox masks, but they were drawn in different ways, and they all looked very good. Qing smiled knowingly, paid for everyone, and picked a half face for himself and Itachi. This way everyone will be the same. Ino wanted to buy an extra one and give it to Hinata when she met her later, but Qing paid for it first. Jingai did not refuse him and happily accepted it. Thank you, brother Qing. You're welcome. Qing smiled after putting on the mask. It seems that I am more integrated into the atmosphere of this temple fair. The lines at the food stalls were so long, and there seemed to be a lot more people this year than in previous years. Everyone unanimously decided to play first and then eat. There are many rewards, such as scooping goldfish, fishing for balloons, using cork guns, hitting balloons with shuriken, etc. On the way, he met a Hinata with her father and sister. Although Hinata wanted to play with everyone, she had to accompany her sister today. Ino gave her the mask and they separated at the cork gun game stall. Qing shot down a 2-meter tall doll for Naruto, which made Naruto jump for joy. Jingao raised his hand. Brother Qing, I want one too. Qing agreed. Okay, boss, give me another 20 bullets. The thing Naruto was carrying was the treasure of the store. It had been there for several years and had not been taken away. It was just taken away this year. The boss stared at Qing with gritted teeth. Brother Qing, this is not kind. Hey, when doing business, there will always be Waterloo. Qing grinned, but thanks to Qing and the others, business was unexpectedly good, and even though the boss felt a little sad, he didn't show any displeasure towards them. Also bought 30 more. Everyone may have good accuracy with shurikens, but that may not be the case with cork guns with recoil. There are both empty and biased ones. The boss also knew that Qing was taking care of his own business, so when they were almost done playing, he secretly gave them a lot of snacks. After playing all the fun things, everyone decided to divide into groups and queue up to buy them after discussing what they wanted to buy. After buying, they gathered on the open space on the lawn to wait for the fireworks. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 264. He was still very relieved that Naruto was with Sasuke, so Qing was naturally in a group with Itachi. The weather was cold and there were a lot of people. After the children had dispersed, Qing said to Itachi beside him, to prevent us from getting separated, hold hands. Itachi nodded and said, okay. On a cold winter night, the two hands' fingers are clasped together, conveying each other's warmth. However, the hem of the kimono is wide, and if you don't look closely, it just looks like the clothes are too close. Qing heard that there would be sweet rice wine this year, which tasted very good and could warm the body in this kind of weather, so Qing really wanted to try it. Let's buy along the way. Qing had seen such lively temple fairs in other places, but he always had tasks to do and just passed by in a hurry. This has led to the fact that now I want to buy a little bit of everything I see. This is when being a ninja comes in handy. Whenever he saw a stall he liked, he would make a seal with one hand and create a clone to queue up. They lined up one by one, and soon people noticed Qing at many stalls. The ninjas who were still queuing up one by one were all stunned. After all, in such a relaxing moment, they rarely thought of using ninjutsu. People, like Qing, wanted to eat a lot of things and it would take too long to queue up, so they imitated Qing's method. The end result is, the temple fair venue this year is still as large as before, but because each person has one or even several shadow clones, it is a bit crowded. Not the first time I have encountered such a thing today. What's wrong with you ninjas? It's so great that you can use ninjutsu. It's so great that you can use clones. Everyone is lining up obediently. How shameless of you to occupy several seats so openly. There. Our innocent ninjas who use their accumulated resentment as an outlet. Finally, someone complained to the Hokage. Sarutobi had been the Hokage for so many years and this was the first time he had received such a complaint. He remained silent for a long time as he looked at his grandson with a runny nose. Finally, an order was issued to prohibit the use of shadow clones to occupy stalls at temple fairs. When this order came down, Qing's shadow clones had already bought the things and returned to him. At this moment, he was standing side by side with Itachi, queuing up to buy her rice wine. Holding a lot of things in his hands, Qing took out the 3-color meatballs and candied haws. Looking at the combination of the 3-color meatballs and candied haws, he suddenly thought of the various combinations of candied haws in the north in his previous life. After a moment of silence, he handed it to Itachi. By the way, Itachi, you're only 12 years old. Can't you drink? Itachi took it, bit one and held it in his mouth. A round shape appeared on his cheek, which was very cute. He looked at Qing in silence. Sweet rice wine, if you insist, belongs to the category of sugar water. The sugar coating that melted in his mouth after he bit it was so sweet that Itachi squinted his eyes. He looked very satisfied and obviously liked the sweetness. Although it is rice wine, the alcohol content is very low, almost zero. Almost no alcohol, but that's true, right? Qing took Itachi's hand and took a bite of the three-color candied haws in his hand, so sweet. The sweetness melting in his mouth made Qing frown. The double sweetness of the three-color meatballs and the sugar coating was difficult for Qing to accept. I think the sweetness of this one is okay and it tastes quite good. The children of the Uchiha family start to be exposed to alcohol after the age of 6. After all, adapting to the presence of alcohol in the body is also a kind of training. Everyone says that my posts are getting shorter and shorter. That's impossible. The number of words is increasing every day. Chapter 265. Children of the Uchiha family are allowed to come into contact with alcohol at the age of 6, and people like Itachi need to adapt to the presence of alcohol. It is to prevent unexpected needs. Qing understood the purpose of doing this after listening to Itachi's explanation, and couldn't help but sigh quietly. In my hometown, drinking is not allowed before the age of 18. Qing had said to him before he didn't know where the hometown that Qing mentioned was. It was a completely unfamiliar place, which made Itachi feel nervous, but he didn't want to spoil the fun on such a happy day, so he ignored the previous part and teased, "Then Qing, you are not yet 18, so you can't drink yet." Qing raised her eyebrows and raised the corners of her mouth. "I've been over 18 for a long time," Itachi knew best whether Qing was over 18 years old or not. But since he said so, it is not difficult to guess that he was already an adult before becoming the current Qing. Itachi suddenly understood why and where the special feeling he had felt since the first time he met Qing came from. At first, Itachi just thought that this was a child who liked to pretend to be an adult, but after getting to know him, he felt that he was a very caring type, suddenly figured out a lot of things, and also understood why Qing had insisted on waiting for him to become an adult and then proceed with the follow-up matters after he grew up. Because I have always been a child in Qing's eyes, although I have always had this feeling, I realized it more clearly today. The team was moving forward slowly, and Qing felt that the boy next to him suddenly became inexplicably depressed. Just said, "But I didn't expect it." He leaned closer to Itachi and asked softly, "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Do you have a stomachache?" The heat coming from his ears made Itachi shiver all over, and he raised his head and met Qing's eyes. It was too close and his heart skipped a beat. The surrounding environment made him subconsciously lean back to increase the distance between them. He wanted to say something else, but the sweet rice wine line had already reached them. 2 cups of hot wine, 1 with extra sugar, thank you. Welcome, little brother Qing. The stall owner was the rice seller that Qing often visited. Sweet rice wine is sweet to begin with. Do you need to add sugar? Yes, Itachi likes it sweeter. Cup. The boss was very familiar with Qing, so he gave him special treatment by replacing his cup with a larger one that no one else had. The person who was in front of Qing just now hadn't left yet. Seeing this differential treatment, he protested directly, "Boss, you are not kind." The boss directly retorted, "Go away. If you look as handsome as brother Qing, I will also change you to a big cup." The man looked at Qing's face, then turned and left silently. This caused people in the queue behind and around to burst into laughter. Qing's face is indeed not comparable to that of ordinary people. People who are good-looking, pleasing to the eye, and have a good personality will always be treated differently wherever they go. Qing took it with a smile. "Please save some of the new rice for me next month." "No problem. Leave it to me. I will leave the best ones for you," the boss promised, patting his chest. Told by people who knew the situation, we learned that Qing was the benefactor of the boss family. Regarding the point where Qing confessed his identity to Itachi, I have mentioned it before, but I forgot how much I said and I forgot which chapter it was. If you have seen it, I will sob. I am afraid of writing a bug. Chapter 266. Qing put the things he bought into the scroll, and he and Itachi held hands and strolled in such a lively place, each holding a bottle of sweet rice wine in the other hand. From time to time he would lean closer to say a few words, and the atmosphere was extremely pleasant. Someone on the road shouted, "The fireworks countdown will start in 10 minutes, hurry up and grab a spot." It turned out that so much time had passed without realizing it. Qing said to Itachi beside him, "Let's go to the gathering." "Okay." Itachi let out more breath and drank a cup of warm sweet rice wine. The coldness had long gone. Sweet rice wine is indeed not very strong, but Qing is the type of person who gets drunk easily. If you didn't know, you would think he had drunk a lot because of his slightly red cheeks. From Itachi's angle, he could clearly see Qing's slightly moist eyes, which were extremely beautiful. Time goes back to the children. Several children worked separately and quickly bought what they wanted. We had already gathered before going to the lawn for the fireworks. Everyone had a grade and walked towards the lawn, holding apple candies in their hands. On the way, I met Hinata again, who was with her father and sister. Hinata actually noticed her friends from a distance, but didn't run over because her father and sister were there. So when Naruto saw her and waved at her and shouted Hinata, Hinata subconsciously wanted to run over, but stopped after taking only half a step. However, a pair of burning hands gently pushed my back and I took a step forward. Go ahead. He heard his father say, your sister is sleepy. I will take her home first. Hinata turned around with her eyes wide open, and a faint smile appeared on her father's serious face. Dad, be careful. If it's too late, let those brats take you home. In fact, he felt relieved because he knew that Qing was watching over those little brats. Sister, be careful on the way home. After saying that, he walked towards his friends. At first I walked slowly and shyly, but later I couldn't help but ran over. After reuniting with her friends, Hinata finally laughed out loud. Although it was also happy to play with her father and sister, this feeling was different. Turning around, Hinata just happened to see her father's back. It turned out that he had been looking at her the whole time, and only looked away after seeing her and her friends with her. Felt that she seemed to have misunderstood. Hinata, if you want anything else to eat, let's go buy it together. Aino stuffed the extra apple candies into Hinata's hands. Thank you. Hinata thanked him happily. She really couldn't let go and play when she was with her father. When I see something I like, I just look at it a few more times without saying anything. I want to eat. Of the cloud-like ones are shaped like kittens and look particularly cute. Okay, let's go buy it together. Aino took Hinata's hand. Let's go. Let's go. Naruto shouted along. Naruto saw many uncles along the way, and he would greet the uncle's clones and report where he had been along the way, so Qing's original body could be so comfortable with it. When I bought it, there was a small wooden house not far from the busy place, and a cherry-haired girl was sitting on the steps in front of the house. She lowered her head and her hair was a little messy. Naruto noticed it and patted Aino, motioning her to look over there. That girl seems to be in our class. Naruto remembered her because he could often feel her watching them. Naruto has always been very sensitive to sight, so he didn't think it was an illusion. It seems so. I remember her name is Iruno Sakura. Aino has a cheerful personality and is very popular in the class. Many girls like to surround her. However, Aino knew that most of these people approached her because of Naruto and Sasuke, and they only maintained an ordinary classmate relationship. But Haruno Sakura was not among them. My impression of Haruno Sakura is that she has the same beautiful hair color and name as Sakura. She seems to be in some trouble. I'll go over to take a look, Aino said and walked over alone. There was no way Aino wouldn't play with Sakura. Today's chapter will definitely not be short. Please give me a free gift. Chapter 267. Haruno Sakura. Her parents are ordinary people in Konoha. Her parents have a harmonious relationship and are very good to her. But because she is not from a ninja family, Haruno Sakura always feels that she is out of tune with her classmates in this class. In addition, he was ridiculed for his broad forehead when he was younger, which made him even more inferior each other since childhood, and were lucky enough to be assigned to the same class in school. Excellent people are always attractive, and Haruno Sakura can't help but look at them. She also envied the two girls, envied them for being able to play with them, and envied them for being cute. If I could be that cute, I would probably muster up the courage to join them, but there is no if, and I am not cute at all. Invited me to play with them, and I had clearly dressed up and tried hard to cover my forehead. You okay? Are you feeling unwell? The familiar voice made Haruno Sakura look up, instantly worried. No. Haruno Sakura came back to her senses at this time. Thinking of her messy hair, she lowered her head in panic. I'm not feeling unwell. No, thank you for your concern. This was the first time they had spoken to each other since they became classmates. Are you really okay? Did you get separated from your companions? Aino looked around and saw that there was no one else around. Speaking of companions, my tense nerves broke at this moment. Tears as big as beans kept falling like pearls from a broken string. Sure enough, something happened. Aino sat down next to her and helped her smooth her back. It's okay. You will feel much better if you cry. If you don't mind, you can tell me what happened and we can help you solve it together. Woo. Haruno Sakura wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. They clearly asked me out. Woo. They asked me out to play, but they left me alone. I tried so hard to dress myself up, but I heard some really harsh words. I was so sad. I also want to be as cute as you guys. Am I really ugly? She was crying and talking incoherently, and Ino was listening attentively. I quickly sorted out the cause and effect from the intermittent words. This is being bullied by a gang. Thinking of their verbal attacks on Hiruno Sakura, Ino frowned. Those guys who said you were ugly are the real ugly ones, she said angrily. You are not ugly at all. Your hair color is so cute, your name is cute, and you look. Ino held her face in her hands, looked at it carefully, then lifted her hair that was covering her forehead and said with a smile, your eyes are red like a rabbit, and your nose is also red. It's super cute. She cried because of herself. She knew she was joking with her, so she burst into laughter. What? Haha. You finally smiled. Ino took her hand back and draped her shawl over her. You're cute even when you smile. She knew that she was just trying to comfort herself, but it was the first time she heard so many compliments, so Hiruno Sakura still lowered her eyelids shyly. Thank you. Well now, I'll help you give you a new hairstyle. As she said that, Ino took out a comb from her handbag, which also contained spare cherry blossom hair accessories. The friendship between beauties cannot be broken. I wish you all a happy Christmas Eve. Peace and success. Chapter 268. Ino used a comb to smooth Hiruno Sakura's curled hair. She braided her bangs that covered her forehead and fixed them by the river. With the addition of cherry blossom hair accessories, it looks particularly beautiful with her hair color at all. Hiruno Sakura took the mirror handed to her by Ino, and her eyes widened when she saw herself in the mirror, who is very different from usual. The fireworks are about to start. Ino put away everything and stood up, holding out her hand to Hiruno Sakura. Come watch with us. At this time, Hiruno Sakura realized that there were many more people around her without her noticing. They had their backs to her and were huddled playing together. Can I really play with you guys? Hiruno Sakura asked uncertainly. Of course, it's more fun with more people. Ino held her hand and walked towards Naruto and the others. Hurry up, if you don't hurry up, the good spots will be gone. Hiruno Sakura walked among them, and at this moment she felt like she was dreaming. It was so unreal. However, something even more unreal is yet to come. Hiruno Sakura was sandwiched between Ino and Hinata, who always wanted to be friends with her, and Uzumaki Naruto, one of the geniuses, kept stuffing food into her hands. From time to time, I asked her if she wanted to eat anything else, and if she was thirsty or cold. Hiruno Sakura was flattered and looked at Ino somewhat at a loss. Only then did Ino speak up to stop him. I can't carry anything anymore, come on. Naruto then stopped. Okay. Ino turned to Hiruno Sakura and explained in a low voice, Naruto was also bullied when he was a child. He is just comforting you in his own way. Don't be afraid. Hiruno Sakura finally came to her senses and nodded. You are so nice. She said in a low voice, shyly. Yet, Naruto is a very good person. Hinata also responded in a low voice with a blushing face. The first time Hinata met Naruto, she was saved by Naruto when she was bullied by other children. At that time, Naruto suddenly appeared like a little hero and scared away the bad guys for him. At that time, Naruto was not as strong as he is now, and he had no way of defeating so many children. However, he scared them away by saying things like if you don't run away, I will turn into a monster and eat you all. The marks on Naruto's cheeks that looked like a monster's beard made the lie more credible. Later, she became more and more familiar with their small group, and got to know more sides of Naruto. The lawn was already crowded with people, and the few little kids were not tall enough to stand out among the group of adults. Naruto stood on tiptoe, his vision blocked, and he couldn't see the scene in front of him at all. What should I do? I can't see my uncle and the others. I can't see the fireworks from here at all. Ino looked left and right, but her view was blocked in every direction. When the fireworks started they could only hear a noise. The crowd was getting bigger and bigger, and several children were squeezed in the middle and forced to move forward. In order to avoid being squeezed away, they held each other's hands. Qing had already heard the news and prepared the best position in advance. The wooden house on the treetop seemed a bit prominent. There was a brazier inside, and the whole house was warm them. Qing leaned sideways and leaned on the window with one hand. From their position they could not only see the lake, but also the people jostling below. The situation looks very dangerous, let's go pick them up. Qing had already seen the children being gradually squeezed into the crowd. Okay. Itachi put down the three-colored meatball, stood up and went with Qing. Merry Christmas, babies. Chapter 269. Naruto felt a little uncomfortable being squeezed and was almost pushed away several times. Fortunately, Sasuke always held him tightly. Let's stop watching and go back. Sasuke frowned as he looked at Naruto's abnormal face. No. I made an appointment with my uncle to watch the fireworks together. I have to find them quickly. Naruto had never been in a place with so many people before, and he felt like vomiting. Helplessly, Sasuke could only try his best to contain Naruto and give him some space to breathe. He turned around and said to the others behind him, "Brother Qing and brother won't come looking for us if they can't see us. Let's go to a spacious place." Shikamaru thought so too, so he stood at the end of the group, and now he and Choji were leading the way. But they were still too small, and it was difficult for them to go against such a large flow of people. Oops. As his body was forced to lean forward, Shikamaru felt that the short 6 years of his life had passed by in a flash. "Sorry, I'm late." A gentle voice sounded in my ears, and a very pleasant smell entered my nose. The imagined trampling did not happen, and the body was hugged around the waist. "Are you hurt?" Shikamaru finally came to his senses and shook his head. "No, thanks to you for catching me. That's good. Let's leave the crowd first." Shikamaru in one hand. "You can put me down first." Shikamaru seemed a little embarrassed, uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, being held by Qing for the first time. Qing rushed to Naruto's side and comforted him. "Just bear with it for now. Chakra covers the soles of the feet, so the steps are steady and will not be pushed away." Qing held Naruto in his arms, and Shikamaru took the opportunity to jump to the ground. After breathing in the air from above, Naruto finally recovered. When he saw Qing, he burst into tears. Woo! So scary. It was the first time for Naruto to be in a place with so many people. He couldn't see the road ahead and could only be squeezed in, and he would fall if he wasn't careful. Qing ran along his back. I should have come to pick you up earlier." Qing knew they were safe, but ignored the children's height issue. He put Naruto on his neck and let him hold on steadily, and put a little girl on each arm, letting Ino hold on to her neck. "I'll leave the boys to you, Itachi. Ladies, please close your eyes first." Qing gathered his strength under his feet. Naruto's uncle, "My name is Qing." Ino felt that she had changed places in the blink of an eye. It's the instant body technique, a D-level ninjutsu that you will learn in your courses later. However, what Qing did was a little different from the instant body technique. "So cool. I want my dad to teach me." Ino waved her fist. "Okay, let's go first." Qing smiled and took Naruto off her neck and held him in her arms, with no intention of putting him down and walking by herself. Naruto was still frightened and clung to Qing tightly. "Where are we going?" Ino was a little confused. They were heading in the opposite direction of the crowd. "We've found the best viewing spot. As for the destination, let's keep it a secret for now." In Hiruno Sakura's impression, Uzumaki Naruto has always been like her little son, with a bright smile and many friends around him, good grades and good temper. This was the first time she saw Naruto like a little baby, but surprisingly she didn't feel it was weird at all. On the contrary, this picture looks a bit pleasing to the eye. Chapter 270. Qing and Itachi's agreement. Ino looked at the huge tree that seemed to have no top, and a lot of doubts arose in her little head. Are we going to the top of the tree to look?" At this time, a gust of wind blew and Ino felt a little cold. In the eyes of Jinga, who was expecting to be denied, Qing smiled and nodded. "Yes. Are you surprised?" Half. Ino, feeling surprised rather than happy and cold, squeezed towards Hiruno Sakura and Hinata. "I won't tease you anymore." Qing bullied the little girl a little and then quickly comforted her. "There is a small wooden house on the top of the tree. It's very warm and very close to the sky. You can definitely see the most beautiful fireworks." Ino finally breathed a sigh of relief and became interested in the cabin on the treetop. "Shall we wait for them to arrive and then have a competition to see who can climb to the top of the tree the fastest?" Ino looked at the endless treetops and was eager to try, and rolled up her sleeves. Qing looked at Ino, who was eager to win, and said helplessly, "My little lady, please don't ruin your clothes. I'll take you up." Qing twisted his shoulders. "Hinata and Sakura come first." Before Hinata and Hiruno Sakura could say anything, they opened and closed their eyes and found themselves in a simple wooden house. The warmth gave them goosebumps. In less than 10 seconds, Naruto and Ino also came upright in amazement, looking towards the window. They look as small as ants. Grinned. Why haven't Sasuke and the others arrived yet? Almost done. Qing looked under the tree and said, I'll go pick them up. Then, Qing and Itachi took two of the boys into the house. The cabin is not very big, but with so many people squeezed together there is still plenty of space, so it doesn't feel crowded at all. Qing took out the scroll and unsealed it. The low table was instantly filled with a variety of food, emitting a charming aroma, and saw that the wooden house stood firmly on the treetops, without any sense of shaking or tilting. I couldn't figure out the principle for a moment. When he couldn't help but blurt out, "This doesn't make sense," Qing answered for him, "This is a kind of ninjutsu." He briefly talked about Tenzo's ninjutsu and what other ninjutsu he added afterwards. It suddenly occurred to Shikamaru that this was actually possible. The children sat together in a circle, with hot drinks and snacks in their hands. Just at this moment, a dull ding-ding-ding sound of bells came from outside. Then there were whoosh, 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 and then bang, 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 and the sky exploded with colorful flowers. "The fireworks have started," the children exclaimed after hearing the sound and rushed to the window. Qing asked them to step back a little, pressed a switch, and the wall facing the fireworks opened from the middle to left and right. In order to prevent children from accidentally falling, a height similar to that of a fence is left. This place is very close to the sky and is indeed the best viewing spot. Naruto and the others also stared with wide eyes. This was the closest they had ever been to the fireworks. It was very dazzling and beautiful. Qing leaned over to Itachi and whispered in his ear, "Happy New Year. Let's watch the fireworks together next year, just you and me." Hearing this, Itachi looked fiercely at Qing's face. What does Qing's words mean? This is a promise or an agreement he made to himself at this time next year. No matter where Itachi is, Qing will go to find him to celebrate the new year and watch the fireworks together. Itachi knew that he might not be in Konoha next year. His nose felt a little sour, and he choked up a little. It's an appointment. Group, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 271. Winter passes and spring comes. Spring is gone but summer is still clear. In the summer of the 55th year of Konoha, several things happened. In the summer of the 55th year of Konoha, the high-ranking elders of the Uchiha clan were brutally slaughtered by the 13-year-old Uchiha. Itachi power was called upon by the villagers of Konoha to return. When the Uchiha were in charge, even a 3-year-old child could walk alone on the streets of Konoha safely. But ever since Uchiha left the guard, adults often get robbed when walking on the streets, or face the danger of being attacked by hooligans in the street. Although Konoha is a ninja village, ordinary villagers also make up the majority. I dare not go out at night. This affects the economy of many people. The elders of Konoha finally had no choice but to compromise under waves of protests from the villagers. After repeated requests, the Uchiha finally had no choice but to give face to Konoha and return to Konoha's guard team in an orderly manner. Even though they had been away for a year, the handover was completed in less than half a day, and order was restored within a week. The villagers no longer have to worry when traveling. Even if there are hooligans or disputes, the Uchiha patrolling ninjas will catch up quickly. And the Uchiha clan's territory was originally on the border of Konoha. Because of the pet shop next to the clan's land, the flow of people in this area has increased. However, this vast land belongs to the Uchiha. It is said that the pet shop, which occupies a large area, was also rented from Uchiha. With this precedent, considering that the market in Konoha Commercial Street has gradually become saturated, the businessmen who saw other business opportunities interviewed the Uchiha and mentioned the matter of renting land from the Uchiha. Due to the passing of the Uchiha elders, their successors have a respect for the clan leader. The person with the most say now, original E, is the Uchiha clan leader, Uchiha Fugaku. He broke away from the control of the elders and agreed after discussing with other tribesmen. Prosperous it is as lively as the bustling area of Konoha. Time goes back to the summer of Konoha 55 years ago, the day before the Uchiha elders could no longer hold back and were ready to take action. A special guest arrived in the patriarch's meeting room today. The third Hokage took a sip of his tea. Sitting opposite him were Uchiha Fugaku and Itachi, and to Itachi's left was Qing Essensen, Uchiha Fugaku didn't want Qing to participate in the final battle, but Qing was close to his son. They will be moved tomorrow night. Uchiha Fugaku spoke first. It has been discussed. I will send people to support Itachi. The third Hokage glanced at Qing, who was just a spectator today. Itachi's identity afterwards. The title of traitor ninja is not a good one. Had no emotion on his face at this moment. Only when his eyes fell on Qing, standing beside him, did he reveal a little bit of emotion. This is the information of that organization. Currently, we only know that it is composed of rebellious ninjas, but the details are not clear. I think you will receive an invitation after leaving Konoha. The third Hokage gave Itachi an information scroll. These are all what Jiraiya has collected during these years away from home. Anyway, be careful with everything. Yes. Itachi took it with both hands. Afterwards they discussed the specific time, originally planning to take action tomorrow night to give Itachi some time to prepare. But Itachi said, tonight will do. He had been preparing for this day for a long time. I have said everything I need to say, and I haven't done enough of what I want to do, such as when I was with Qing at Qing deeply nodded, and left a meeting room. After Itachi left, Qing took out a fox mask from his arms and put it on his face. I am ready to start my part-time job. When Uchiha Fugaku saw Qing's outfit, his originally uneasy heart calmed down. He thought that with Qing around, he wouldn't let Itachi get hurt. That night, the Uchiha clan's territory was quieter than usual. The moon hanging in the darkness had a hint of blood, which meant that things were destined to be uneasy. Okay, after a brief transition, I will start the time method. Things that happened in the blank years will be supplemented in the main text in the form of memories. Today is a long day, please give me a free gift. Chapter 272. On the night of the blood moon, the elders of the Uchiha clan fell into deep sleep forever, silently. The black-haired boy had bloodshot eyes, and the magatama in his eyes were spinning rapidly. The blood-stained hands were not his. Even though the man in front of him was wearing a mask, Itachi guessed his identity later. The students who are about to graduate from Konoha this year are attracting much attention. Because the heirs of Konoha's major families will graduate this summer and become a real ninja after passing the assessment, his height is almost the same as that of his peers. Be careful on the road. The blonde young man's face has lost the childishness of his youth, but his face, which has grown proportionally, has become more delicate and beautiful. After Naruto went out to school, Qing hung the wash clothes in the yard, took the lunchbox prepared for herself and went out. He first went to the Hokage building and submitted a new commission to the Hokage. Qing's commission was actually a long-term D-level task, which was to collect some raw materials he needed. Except for a few special ones, he would go out of the village to collect them himself every year, and the rest of the common ones were handed over to the Hokage in the form of a commission. Such D-level missions have been going on for several years, and basically every graduating class has done them. Qing actually made quite a few friends when he was on missions outside. After they finally waited for Qing to open a shop, they could only communicate through letters because it was inconvenient for them to go to Konoha for short interviews. In short, these guys who are not short of money always travel thousands of miles to buy goods from him in the form of letters, and then have to pay a not cheap delivery fee. The commission for a ninja is actually quite expensive. Qing's pet shop business is unexpectedly good. Whether they come for him, the goods, or his craftsmanship, several groups of people have increased Qing's daily turnover. The most important thing is that the things he has are not available anywhere else. Since the first batch of inventory was sold out, they are often out of stock. It is impossible to mass-produce them by hand. Many people have already reserved food for their pets' ninja beasts a month in advance. After all, it takes time to collect raw materials for those special products, and the same goes for the production process. Orders for things like canned cat food for the Uchiha clan and dog food chews for the Inuzuka clan were huge in number, and the initial delivery schedule was delayed from once a month to once every 3 months. Good morning, Lord Sandaime. After receiving the response, Qing pushed open the door of the Hokage's office. There is only one person from the third generation in the office. He has been worried about so many things in recent years that his hair is almost covered with white. Have a seat. The third generation raised his lips after seeing Qing. It just so happens that a team just did a task yesterday. You can take it away later. That's really helpful. Has urged me many times this month. Ha ha ha. Inuzuka Hana is not an impatient girl. Maybe she is really anxious. It is said that her dog Heiwan has been on a hunger strike recently. Qing was also helpless. He didn't expect that the ninja dog would be picky about food after eating his dog food. He is not interested in other foods. The Inuzuka family even questioned whether Qing had used an appetite attractant, but it turned out to be simply too delicious. Well, Yuanmo said yesterday that he hadn't seen you for a long time. Is that so? Then please tell Lord Yuanmo that I welcome him anytime. Qing took over the new commission tasks, handed over the completed ones, and then stood up to say goodbye. After he left, Saruma, who was outside the window of the Hokage's office, caught up with the young man. Hi EQ, Ape Demon, I haven't seen you for a long time. Low EQ, the Ape Demon wants to take a bath with you. Chapter 273. Qing had just left the Hokage building and was walking slowly towards the Uchiha clan's territory. Brush. During this time, many ninjas passed over Qing's head, and there was a lot of noise not far away. Get out of the way, get out of the way. A little kid with a shaggy head came running towards them. He was wearing a strange open-top helmet that revealed his pigtails. Around his neck was a scarf longer than anyone else's. Qing recognized him immediately. He was Sarutobi Konohamaru, the grandson of the third Hokage. It's strange, we are from the same village but have never met each other before. At this time, Konohamaru was at the age when he was naughty and playful. Qing witnessed Konohamaru crouching behind the pole on top of him, huddled up with his back to him. The ninja who was chasing him stopped when he saw Qing and bowed respectfully. Excuse me, Mr. Qi, have you seen Master Konohamaru? Konohamaru. Qing made a thoughtful expression and said with a smile, I saw it. Konohamaru, who was squatting behind him, couldn't help but tremble with nervousness. Excuse me, which direction did he go? Ebisu pushed his sunglasses and looked at the young man in front of him. The young man's smile grew bigger and bigger. Ebisu shook his body and two bright red lines flowed down his nostrils. Sorry to bother you. After realizing his own mistake, Ebisu covered his mouth and nose and hurried away. Qing looked at Ebisu, who was leaving him again, thought of the scene when they first met inside in the past few years. This face was so androgynous that it was difficult to tell whether it was male or female. It was okay for those who knew him, but those who had never seen Qing and had only heard of his name caused a lot of misunderstandings because of this. Ebisu is one of them. Ebisu is much younger than he is now. A few years ago, and he was known as an elite teacher, at an age of confidence and impulsiveness. He knew Kakashi, and once when he was with Kakashi, he met Qing. That day, Qing's long hair stood up high like usual, and there were some beads of sweat on her forehead because she had just finished something. The cheeks are slightly red and full of blood. Ebisu fell in love with Qing at first sight and confessed to him in front of Kakashi, my beautiful lady, I fell in love with you at first sight. May I have the honor to know your name? Ebisu extended his hand in a gentlemanly manner. I am Ebisu. This is not the first time that Qing has been misunderstood about her gender, but it is the first time that she has confessed her love while being misunderstood about her gender. Kakashi on the side completely entered the mode of watching the show, and the words melon eater were clearly written in his exposed eyes. Hello, my name is Qing. Although Qing's voice is not as deep as a man's, one can tell that he is a man at once. Ebisu just felt that the beautiful lady's voice seemed a little rough, but what did it matter? He smiled like a peacock spreading its tail, and held Qing's fingertips. What a nice name. Can I buy you a cup of tea, uncle? A golden head passed by Ebisu, interrupting his subsequent words. Qing glanced at the devastated Ebisu with a teasing look in his eyes, then picked up Naruto and carried him on his shoulders. Are you leaving school so early today? Kakashi. Qing didn't believe that Kakashi didn't know. He must have deliberately not reminded Ebisu in advance just because he wanted to watch the show. Later, every time he met Ebisu, he looked embarrassed and at a loss. It was Qing who took the initiative to talk to him about this matter and said that he didn't care. Later, whenever Ebisu met Qing, he would come up to him and say hello noses. Ebisu, an elite teacher who has no resistance to beauty. Chapter 274. Konohamaru looked away for a while, and when he heard no movement, he turned his head cautiously. There's no one around, no one is there. I was so focused on hiding that I didn't notice the man's face. I just heard his voice, which was particularly nice. He got rid of that lecherous teacher so easily. You're amazing. The lecherous teacher called him Mr. Qi. Konohamaru walked leisurely with his hands behind his head. He was thinking about Mr. Ike didn't notice Ebisu and the other ninjas who were gradually approaching him. The task for the graduating class of the ninja school today is to retest the transformation technique. After studying in school for so long, the basic ninjutsu that the students should have learned had already been taught, and the teacher could only help them review before the day of the real graduation exam. All the students lined up and came forward one by one. Iruka marked each of them with a passing mark on the notebook, and felt deeply moved as he saw the children had grown a lot. He is honored that all the children he taught were able to pass the assessment. Everyone performed very well, but remember not to be too proud and complacent. Sasuke. But Iruka knew that his current strength was accumulated through days and months of training. After school, Iruka called Naruto, who was about to go home, and scratched his face awkwardly. Naruto. Naruto said to Sasuke beside him and walked up to Iruka. What's the matter, Iruka-sensei? How about I treat you and Ike-senpai to ramen tonight? Iruka said with a blush. Eh? Really? That's great. Naruto's favorite food is ramen. The food my uncle cooks is really delicious, but sometimes I want to eat ramen. Besides being really delicious, ramen has an even more special meaning to him. The first food that his uncle took him to eat was ramen. Mr. Chi isn't free today. Okay. Uncle has more free time today. Naruto knew Chi-Qing's schedule. Unless there were special circumstances, his schedule was very regular. Also, Uncle will be out the day after tomorrow, so he has plenty of time after closing the store today. Iruka was relieved to hear Naruto say that. Otherwise, what if he suddenly invited someone and caused trouble for them? Well, that's good. See you later. Bye, Teacher Iruka. I'll go back first. See you later. Naruto waved and ran towards Sasuke, who was still waiting for him. Sorry for the wait, Naruto happily shared with Sasuke. Iruka-sensei said he would treat me and my uncle to ramen. Sasuke is really a very nice guy. Oh. Sasuke responded to indicate that he heard it. His face was indifferent, even colder than in previous years. But Naruto didn't care about his attitude at all and continued talking about how Iruka-sensei took care of him. As Sasuke listened, his thoughts flew elsewhere. Sasuke could see clearly, and Iruka-sensei himself might not have realized, that his feelings for Chi-Qing were more than just admiration for his senior brother. Chi-Qing has been staying in the village for the past few years. When he was away for a long time, we could only hear rumors about him but never see him in person. Charm, and they can no longer control their budding sexual desire. In recent years, there have been a lot of beautiful girls surrounding brother Chi-Qing, and some even set their sights on Naruto just to get close to brother Chi-Qing. Sasuke just thought they were annoying in response and chased many of them away from Naruto, but it was only temporary. Only at times like this would Sasuke think of his elder brother who ran away from home. Then my mood became increasingly gloomy. I must find that man and bring him back. Today is also a long day. Please praise me, and give me a small gift. Today is the last day of 2023. Thank you for your company and support this year. I wish you all a smooth, safe and healthy new year. Please give me your advice. I will also work hard and write articles in the new year. Chapter 275. Summer nights always come late, and the sky is still bright at 6 o'clock. Chi-Qing locked the store door on time at 6 o'clock and walked towards Ichiriko Ramen with Naruto. Naruto walked ahead hopping. Chi-Qing looked at the boy whose height had reached his shoulders, and every time he did, he couldn't help but sigh that he had really raised Naruto. Let him have the company of his family during his childhood, and try to make Naruto feel the warmth of home. Iruka-sensei said he would treat us. He was the one who treated us last time, so that's why we are the ones to treat. Understand, Mingbao? The etiquette of reciprocity is still engraved in Chi-Qing's DNA. Naruto put his hands behind his back and grinned. I know, little uncle. I brought some pocket money today, so let me treat you. Okay then. Shoulder with Naruto. Even though they had known each other for such a long time, Iruka still felt a little restrained every time he saw Chi-Qing. He had arrived early and was chatting with Uncle Ichiriku. Welcome. Uncle Ichiriku had his usual kind smile on his face. Uncle, Teacher Iruka, we are here. Naruto pulled aside the curtain and sat on Iruka's left. Thank you for inviting me today, Teacher Iruka. You can come. Iruka waved his hand. What, is Mr. Chi here? A chorus, who was originally in the kitchen, ran out, propped up her cheeks and twisted in front of Chi-Qing. Welcome, Mr. Chi. What should I eat today? I will personally make it for you, then I'll leave it to Sister Akoris. Chi-Qing responded with a smile. The tempura shrimp made by Sister Akoris is really delicious. Praised, Akoris went into the kitchen with a satisfied look on his face and started working. Uncle Yao stood in front of Chi-Qing with a cheerful look on his face. Look, little Chi-Qing, you are about the same age as my daughter. Uncle Yao's intention was very clear. He wanted to bring the two of them together and at the same time test whether Qing had any intention in this regard. Qing acted helpless. You also know that both Mingbao and I have been eating at your place since we were young. Qing sighed. Every time my brother went out and didn't have enough money, you treated me to a meal. Our relationship has long surpassed the love between a son and a daughter. You and Sister Changpa's place are like another home to me. Qing spoke seriously and sincerely, which made Uncle Yao's eyes tear up. He covered the entire bowl of noodles with piles of meat. Aim, who was listening in the kitchen, also stacked the tempura shrimps, which originally only had 5 in a portion, and placed them in front of them. Naruto, who was listening at the side, nodded with emotion and sniffed. When my uncle went out on a mission and I didn't have enough money, you made me a whole bowl of ramen and only charged me a small amount. I still remember it. Wow, you are all good kids. Uncle Ichiraku wiped his tears with a handkerchief. I had long forgotten what I was about to do. Iruka was so moved that his eyes turned red. The meal tonight was very enjoyable and Naruto paid for it in the end. Iruka tried to stop him again and again. How can we let students treat us? Qing advised. Mingbao has always said that he wants to thank Mr. Iruka for taking care of him, so let him come today. Iruka was particularly touched by this. After the meal, Iruka mustered up the courage to meet Qing alone before they parted ways. Senior Qing. If you are free later, can I invite you to have a drink together? His face flushed, fearing that he would be rejected. Qing was a little surprised, but nodded without refusing. Okay, I'm honored. If you don't want to be alone at home, go find Sasuke to do your homework. Qing said to Naruto, I'm going out and talk with Iruka-sensei. We won't be back too late, okay? Then I'll go play with Sasuke, uncle. Bye Iruka-sensei. Iruka looked at Naruto who went back obediently after waving his hand, and said with emotion, you taught Naruto really well. No, Naruto is a good boy. With a little guidance, he is better than any other child. Happy New Year's Day and Happy New Year. Thank you all for the gifts. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.